Hello everybody, how are you doing? Let's continue our modern JavaScript. In this session, let's take a look object property flags and descriptors. And for property flags, we have a value, we have writable or not, enumerable or not, configurable or not. Let's take a look at this example. We define object with a property. By default, the descriptor value will be value is the value we set. The writable, enumerable, configurable are all true. And we also can define a property user defined property API. So we put the object, the name of the property, and the property flags inside this object. So if we don't set the property for that property flag object, the descriptor will be like this. So value is the value we set. The other values will be false by default. So we want to make the property read only, then we make writable equal false. And we want to change the other enumerable to true and configurable to true, but we keep the writable as false. We want this property to be read only, but able to be listed out by for loop and .keys API, and also can be changed in the future. Let's take a look at this example. If we define an object like this, it has a property method inside. We are able to list all the property and methods out. And for this one, we want to make this toString enumerable flag as false. Then this toString method cannot be listed out when we use for in and object.keys. And let's take a look at this example. This math is the built-in object from JavaScript engine, and if you will get the pi properties flag, we will see the value is the pi value. The rest flags are all false. Means you cannot delete this property, you cannot modify this property. And we have this user object, and we define a property name onto this object. We set the value is join, writable is false, and configurable is false. Now we want to change the writable as true. We want to change the value because the configurable is false at the beginning. You cannot change anything back. This is a one-way operation. If you set the configurable as false, everything cannot be changed. So instead of use define property, we can use define properties. With this object, you can define a group of properties. So for example, for this user, you want to add on this property, and with the flags for that property, and you want add on the surname property and with the other flags onto that property as well. Let's take a look at this one. Get own property descriptors. This one is going to get all the properties on that object. So if we see this line is going to clone a new object from this existing object. This is the better way to clone an object. The previous way we used like this, we used the for in to do the copy, but it cannot copy the flags, and if the enumerable flag is false, we cannot copy that property. This is a better way to clone an object. And another difference is that for in ignores symbolic properties, like we learned this one before in the previous session. If the property is using a symbol, then it cannot be listed out, but get own property descriptors can get that kind of properties out. And instead of doing the define property and get own property descriptors and these APIs we learned already, you also can use the other APIs like prevent extension, this will forbid to add properties to the object, and object.co will forbid to add and remove properties and set for all existing properties configurable false. And this one, to freeze object, forbids to add, remove, change properties, set all existing properties configurable false, writable false. And you also can use the other API to check whether it's extensible, is sealed, or is frozen. These APIs are used very rare, so you can just go through it and take a look, understand it. Yeah, that's all for this session. Thanks for watching. See you next time.